And most of you will be hearing Koreascape on TBS EFM 101.3 megahertz in Seoul and surrounding areas. We like to kick off the Friday show by talking tourism, not only because we are so close to the weekend and a lot of people are thinking of leisure and relaxation and taking a trip here and there, but also because in a slowing economy, tourism is becoming more and more important to Korea. So we want to kind of pull apart the nuts and bolts of tourism and the tourism business. And we have on hand our guest host and professional tourist, Jimin Yoon, to talk about the business of travel and what's new in Korean tourism. Hi, Jimin.
Hello.
Yes, so one of the big questions when people plan trips around Korea or to Korea is, should I hop on board with this travel agency or this tour company and sign on with a package, or should I just go it alone? It's really one of the first decisions you have to make before you take that trip. So what is the answer?
First of all, I think it's easier to understand what is a group tour first.
Okay.
Like a package tour. When we say a group tour or a package tour, it normally means a tour product organized and sold by a tour operator. So it includes transportation, accommodation, and sometimes a tour guide. So, and you'll be also grouped with other random people and follow the itinerary together.
And hopefully you'll be friends with a few of them by the end of the trip.
Yes.
So it's kind of outsourcing your thinking about the trip to this tour company, trusting them that they know better and that you just put your fate in their hands and you're going to have a good time. Is that the biggest reason why people choose that kind of tour?
When someone asks me whether I should choose a group tour sold by a tour operator or not, I ask this question back. Are you okay if you're not able to see or do what you wanted to? So if the answer is no, then you should choose a group tour. Because the biggest merit of choosing a group tour is that you're guaranteed to visit all the must-visit spots. Everything is settled. You're traveling with a tour guide who knows the area and speaks the language.
And they know how to maximize your time. So you're not wasting any time. You're going bang, 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 bang on a fixed itinerary.
Yes. And I'll give you an example to understand the difference more easier.
Okay.
When I was traveling in Mexico, I visited a city named Acuma. It is a small city which is 2 hours away from Cancun, and it's a very beautiful Caribbean holiday city, beautiful beaches and resorts, and it is very popular for sea turtle watching. But when you go to the beach, they ask you whether you want to be part of the group or you want to tour by yourself.
Okay.
But the group tours for turtle watching is guided by a local guide. You need to pay for the package, including the tour, a life jacket, and also the snorkels. They're operating the tour at the part of the beach where sea turtles are observed the most. So when you're being part of the tour, it's 99% guaranteed that you'll watch and play with the turtles.
Sounds good so far.
But however, when you decide to be yourself, you need to prepare your own gears. And it is harder for you to approach the area where group tours are going on. You need to find the turtles by yourself. You need to swim more out there. And there is a risk for you to not see the turtles, but there also is a chance for you to see much more than the turtles.
Well, I'm no real expert on sea turtle hunting, so I think in this particular example that you've given, I would be more inclined to go with the group tour. You know, I'm in an unfamiliar place. I'm not a biologist. I don't know how turtles habitate. So yeah, I would probably go with the group tour on that one. Did you go with the group tour?
No, I chose to find the turtles by myself. But a good thing about being myself is that I saw more than the turtles because I was like exploring more.
Okay.
So it was good for me, but it would have been better to be in a part of the group because I've never been, I don't know. But
what did you see beyond the turtles?
The squid swimming.
Wow. Okay, turtle and squid. Sounds good. So yeah, it's important to know what your goals are, and if you are the more independent type, right, then you're gonna, a lot of people really just want to put their trip in somebody else's hands. What makes people choose the group tour?
Well, I think the most important matter that you need to know before choosing between to go with a group or not is what you want from this travel. If you don't have enough time and experiences to prepare all the things you need, it is easier and safer to choose a group tour. So a lot of people who are first time to travel abroad and who are more vulnerable to the risks that you may face while traveling, they tend to choose group tour more.
Okay.
And most of them are like who are in their 40s or above, or families having kids.
Yes. I'm thinking of my mom, who's a little older than that, and if she were going to go to someplace, I would probably want her on a group tour. I'd want somebody holding her hand, you know?
So, but when you think of like group tour and individual, I think I talked about the difference between a traveler and tourist last time,
Uh-huh.
and it's similar because, like, when you think of tourist sounds more superficial, and group tour, comparing to the individual tour, it sounds more superficial.
It can,
kind
yeah.
of.
It can, yeah.
Mhm.
I guess when you're going to a place which is overall safe, but there may be pockets of danger. I'm thinking of some Latin American cities, for example, where there may be bad neighborhoods or dangerous neighborhoods. You'd also want a group tour in that case too. It may just be a matter of prudence,
Yeah.
but there's been all of these independent travel books and travel documentaries out there which have kind of encouraged people to kind of strike out on their own, right?
Yeah. So, like, how you choose between the two is that it's your choice of, like, based on your preferences. And I think for me, it depends on destinations too, as you mentioned about, like, the dangerous destinations, because some destinations are easier and cheaper to travel as a group.
Yes.
So, like, destinations having poor public transportation and infrastructure, it is better to go with a group since they'll provide a private van and book, like, qualified hotels. And also destinations which are rich in culture and history, I might want to go with a tour guide who can explain everything to me.
Exactly. If there's a whole lot to be told, or every little nook and cranny and things, it's really good to have somebody knowledgeable with you. The one downside that I've been reading about with these group tours is that sometimes maybe they have to economize, so you might not get really nice food, or you might get sort of mediocre food. You have to choose the food that they pick for you in the first place. You can't just go to ask the local taxi driver where's the best food in town and go there. So there's a little bit of a downside. Have there been any changes in the way group tours and package tours over time are handled?
I think it is also because of the downside of the group tour. The form of group tour has been changing a lot. Nowadays, people choose in between of group and individual. And there are those products that tour guides are only with you when you transport from a city to city.
Okay.
Because it's the hardest part. The tour guides are with you during the hardest part. Yeah, so it includes all the transportations and accommodations, but you're free to do whatever you want to do during the daytime.
I like that.
The kind of product is called in Korean 단체 배낭여행, which is group backpacking, which I think is in the middle.
Group backpacking, yeah, okay. So you kind of surgically inject the tour guide at the difficult spots, maybe getting through border control or this, that, and the other thing,
Yes.
getting from point to point, and then they say, okay, now you've got 2 hours, free reign, be back here, and you can just go off by yourself. I like that model.
Yeah, and in Korea, for people who are living here or who already have transportation and accommodations, there are many day tour programs which you can enjoy a lot of activities during the daytime. And it can be like a one-day trip or two-day trip. But there are many day tour programs which you can go visit the destinations which are hard to visit with public transportation because they take care of all of your transportation to get there.
Right. I would think this is a perfect type of tour for someplace with natural beauty, like a park or a floral gardens or something like that. You don't need to know a whole lot from a tour guide. They can just turn you loose.
Yeah, so DMZ tours, Nami Island, they have been very typical day tour programs, and they're being very popular, not only for Koreans, but also for the foreigners. And Koreans mostly already visited those popular places as day tour. So nowadays, there are more products exclusive for foreigners.
Yeah, and I suppose if an area has multiple facets, you mentioned the DMZ. You know, the DMZ is huge, and there's all kinds of aspects to it. So if you want to pick and choose your own place that you want to go, someplace like the DMZ, they'll drop you off and say, here are your options. Then you choose for yourself.
Yeah, and as there are more people to choose that kind of day tour programs, rather than being in a group all the time, day tour products are getting more creative. Like mentioning the DMZ tour, they are more becoming more specified as they have. I recently heard they have created the landmine area tour, which sounds quite dangerous.
I hope you don't get too close to the landmine area. Enjoy that one from a distance. But that kind of
creative tours are coming up.
Yeah. And I've heard that DMZ is so full of natural beauty, and there are all of these, crane species and birds. Bird watching at the DMZ is supposed to be fantastic. Bring your binoculars, and you'll probably see a lot of gorgeous birds that have thinned out in more developed areas of Korea.
And today, like these days, it's the springtime. So flower watching programs are also available. There are many tour operators sell day tour products, which includes only transportation to the destination, like festival areas. And they normally include train tickets and private van from the train station to the festival area.
Okay.
But when you get there, they are free to do whatever they want, and they just had to come back for the bus back.
Yeah, that's great. You're on your own for X number of hours. Come and meet at this common point at a certain time.
But it's gonna be very crowded for the flower festivals because we only about a week that we can see the fully bloomed flowers. And the hardest part I heard for going to these flower festivals is parking.
So there's a good incentive to take a group tour. Yeah.
Parking lot is packed and there's a long waiting line from parking. So if you go by individual, you need to wait in line. But if you are in a bus, the bus driver will wait in the line and the group would go into the festival area.
Sure. And when you're talking about the DMZ, there are very specific guidelines. There's a case where a group tour helps because they can say there are certain behaviors you're expected to do or not to do.
True.
You cannot pull out your 400-meter zoom lens camera and point it at North Korea. You can't do this or that. You can't cross behind certain points. So it's indispensable to have a tour guide at that point.
Because, like as you mentioned, like some areas which have that kind of guidelines, they're only allowed to be in a group. If you're an individual, you cannot even go inside. So
we got some cherry blossom festivals coming up. I would imagine that it would be good to book a package tour for those. One of these hybrid package tours where they get you there, give you a little spiel, and then turn you loose, right?
Yeah. So the hardest part for foreigners who are in the day tour programs like cherry blossom festivals, if they are in the day tour programs for Koreans, it's hard for them to communicate with the bus driver who cannot speak fluent English. So as the day tour programs only include transportation, they need to know when and where to be back. So these days there are like a tour products for foreign tourists, including basic foreign language services, even though the tour guide is not following you all the time.
And there are also some great smartphone programs out there where you can just speak your question and it will literally translate into spoken whatever, Korean, Thai, wherever you are. So someday maybe we can do a technology segment. But that's all the time we have for today, Jimin. That'll be Talking Tourism for today. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And Koreascape comes right back after this. That was good.